Hello, everybody. How's it going? Darla, I'm here. I made it. Oh, Darla made it on time. Hey, Darla. Welcome to the stream. Happy Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Man, the week's already half done. Hopefully, everyone's having a good week. Let's say hey to everyone as they're joining. It's been a while since I've talked about Summer Wells. I just looked at it before I hit live. And the last live stream on Summer Wells was January 9th. On January 9th, that was the 208 Days of Summer being missing stream. So at that point, she had been missing for 208 days. And that is now over 2 weeks since we've had that live stream. So it is long overdue that we are here to talk about Summer Wells. There have been a couple of updates since then. What I want to go through is talk about kind of how I'm feeling about the case as of right now. And then maybe we'll open up the phone lines towards the end of the stream. But I want to go through a few things now that I've been able to see some more and read some more on the case. So let's say hey to the people joining while we're waiting. We'll let people get that notification in their inbox that we're live. To the 113 people that are here, hit that like button. Let's get over 100 likes. That'll help push the YouTube video into the algorithm so more people will see it. Hello, Shannon. Hey, Patty, how's it going? First time here. Thanks for being here. Hey, Alex. Radiant Rosie. Hey, ya. Hiya, Aaron. Glad to see your face. Thank you for being here. Rosie. Hey, Kays. Yennefer. Hello. Finally caught a live again. Nice. Hey, Chloe. Rebecca. Hey, how's it going? Hey to Alicia. Hey, Sandy. Ray. Shell. How's it going? Rhonda. Sasha. Ty. Lene. Panda. Hey, Panda. Libby. Hey, from the UK. Ooh, here for the tea. Well, I don't have tea today. I filled my mug with I filled it half full with coffee. Because it's 4:30 in the afternoon, but you know what? I figured we need to get a little bit of a buzz going. Get my energy levels kind of dropped today at like 2:00, and I'm like, oh wait, I think I'm supposed to stream in like 2 hours, so we have a little coffee in the mug. Libby, how's it going? Jakey, hey from the UK. We got some people from the UK in here today. Wendy, Alex, Sasha. Hey everyone, thanks for being here. Sunny South Africa. Very cool. Very cool. Thanks for tuning in. What time is it in South Africa right now? Joyce. Hey to Joyce. Thanks for coming by. Jay Barrett, of course, tuning in from Ireland. Susie from Australia. Wonderful. Panda says, I'm drinking coffee at 3:30 p.m. right now. Yeah, we're both on that late in the day coffee kick. Miss Wee Lassie says, got myself some chocolate coffee. Tastes really nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. AJ, watching from the Netherlands. Why am I getting a phone call? Hello? Had to let a delivery person into the building. Anyways, hello from upstate New York. Hi, Aaron. Hey, Vegas. Moxie, how's it going? Okay, well, we've been streaming for close to 5 minutes, and that is my rule to start the stream now. We've let the people that are going to join early join. Thank you to everyone who's hit the like button so far. We're almost at 100 likes. That's wonderful. That will get the channel out to the people that are late to join. But let's go ahead and start chatting over some of the kind of new information. And this is only new because I haven't streamed about summer and talked about summer in, like I said, over 2 weeks. And so this was posted on January 19th, and I figured I'd mention that the reward for finding summer is now over $75,000. If any of you are following the Harmony Montgomery case, it's wild to think that that is technically an older case, that Harmony has been missing longer than Summer has been missing. However, Harmony, I think her reward is now well over double what Summer's is now. I think Harmony's is approaching $150,000, but I think it might be even more than that. So I figured I would just at least mention that Summer's reward has now reached over $75,000. Jennifer, evening all. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Ray. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of somewhat new, even though this was from late last week, I think, is when this was posted. And then the thing that I just found out today upon stumbling around the Reddit page for Summer Wells is that the family is going to observe Summer Wells' 6th birthday next week in private. So for those of you who are unaware, Summer would be turning 6 on February 4th. She's supposed to turn 6 on February 4th. So that is just, it looks like Friday, this next Friday. So not this coming Friday, but next Friday, the 4th, is Summer Wells' 6th birthday. Apparently, the Wells family will observe their missing daughter's 6th birthday next week in private, likely at church, according to Summer's father, Don Wells. Summer's 6th birthday is February 4th. She was reported missing from her home in Beech Creek community of Hawkins County on the evening of June 15th. If you are, for some reason, just now hearing about the Summer Wells case and you would like to learn more, of course, look up anything and everything about Summer Wells. I have now created a playlist that is on my page called Summer Wells, and it has all of the different live streams and videos that I've made around the case. So if you'd like to see what we've talked about here on this channel, we have a playlist. But yeah, she's been missing now for over 6 months. Donald told the Review Tuesday that there has already been an observance for Summer's birthday among friends in North Carolina, but it was held privately to avoid onslaught of YouTube video producers and other media. So apparently they've also already had a day of observance for Summer's birthday in North Carolina. And that was another thing I was reading. I'm not entirely sure the significance of North Carolina. That was something that someone was mentioning on the Reddit page, is that there were several times that Don had gone to North Carolina or other people had gone to North Carolina, either prior to Summer going missing or after. I will say, I'm not an expert on the Summer Wells case. There's just too many turns and twists and people involved. I feel like people trying to save face a little bit and make sure they're not involved in the story at all. And I think it's because, and it's unfortunate to say, I think a lot of the people in this community and in this circle of friends and people in the Wells' life, I think a lot of them are kind of caught up maybe in drugs and in things that they wouldn't necessarily want to get out there. And so I think that's why so many people are so like, I think that's why we have so many names of people. It's like, well, why is this person speaking so much and defending themselves so much when they have nothing to do with it? And I think it's because it's just such a mess that everyone wants to make sure they're clear, even aside from Summer stuff, even if they have nothing to do with Summer. What did Rhonda say that someone agreed with? Let's see. Oh, yesterday, I believe Rhonda is what Corinna says. What did Rhonda say? Did Candus just recently call 911 on Dawn? Yes, so that's the next thing, Rhonda. We're going to get to that. It is the next it's the next article we're going to go through. But yes, a 911 call did happen at the Wells' house, and we're going to get into that next. But let's read through this a little bit more. Quoted from Dawn, it says, "I personally didn't go because I had to work. I was just so afraid that there was going to be a bunch of YouTubers there, so I didn't want to go." If you guys are unaware, Dawn has dealt with, and the family has dealt with, a lot of the YouTube presence that was and maybe still is in the area. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of some of the names of the people. If you followed the case, you know who I'm talking about. And whether or not you think they're doing good work or not, they are showing up on their property. They're showing up at Dawn's place of work. And, you know, I think pressure is good in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I have my opinion on some of the people that are down there. But I think that's kind of what Don's referring to, as some of those people that are there really like pressing them. He said the birthday observance didn't mean as much without Summer being there. Neither of us went, he said. Okay, wait. So Candus nor Don went to the birthday observance? So was it just Grandma that was there? Who had an observance in North Carolina? If anyone knows, let me know. Also, my Twitter page is open throughout the stream. My Twitter is down below. It is at Aaron Mull Films. If you have a Twitter and you'd like to send me anything to read on stream during a stream, don't hesitate to DM me a link or something on my Twitter. If I get any DMs throughout the stream, I will check them. Of course, there's also the submission form down in the description if you would like to send me any information around this case or future cases. And that is you just need an email to be able to do that. And it sends to like a Google form. And that's another really easy way to contact me. But I don't check that throughout the stream. So if anyone has anything that they'd like to send me during a stream, that is my Twitter. It is at Aaron Mull Films. Yeah, but anyways, that's a little bit weird about them not being there. Sandy says that's so wrong in my opinion. I don't think it's right to trespass on people's property. Oh, I think you're talking, I don't know, Sandy, if you're talking about the parents not being at the observance for her or about the YouTubers being on the property. But either way, I agree. Shannon says, like, why even mention this North Carolina thing? So weird. Yeah, exactly. VC with the, what? And Panda B raises a good point. I don't think Grandma has been seen at all. Like, I don't really know. Yeah, I haven't heard anything from Grandma. Crime Watch says she's at the home but hasn't done anything publicly. Oh, okay. Thank you, Crime Watch. Logical says, made the live stream, but I'm a bit late to the party. I love the live streams, though. Always great to connect and comment in the chat. Also, your Twitter doesn't allow me to DM you. Oh, interesting. I thought I opened up my DMs. The DMs should be open to anybody now. Maybe try refreshing it. And if not, I apologize. I'll check that after the stream. Kays says I'm referring to the YouTubers on the property. Okay, yeah, I agree with you, Kays. Let's continue on. I like jumping in the chat and reading what you guys have to say, but yeah, I think it's a little odd that they even would mention this. And Dawn just says, I would rather just celebrate it in church versus anywhere else, in the church that she loves. Which it's like, now you're telling people where you're going to celebrate her birthday. So it's like, if there are YouTubers in town, or if they're reporters, anybody, they're just going to find you at the church. So it's odd to me that he wouldn't but honor her birthday in private. Like, why mention that at all? It's a little bit strange. Thank you guys so much. 250 people in here. Guys, let's get the stream to over 200 likes. That means like 54 of you hitting the like button that haven't already. We can do that. That would be awesome. Okay, here is a dream. So I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently, okay, hold on. Shell says, there's no email on YouTube either. There should be there's a thing in the description of the video to send me a thing. It's a submission. There's a YouTube. If you really want my email, you should be able to find it in the About section on my YouTube page. You might have to like click something and prove that you're not a robot. But yeah, other than that, though, it's in the description, and that's the Google form. Unless it's for some reason not in there, but it should be in there. Let me double check. Yeah, it's in there. Submissions. Okay. Anyways, so this is apparently a dream that Don had. And this is him describing his dream. He says, I was like a drone or something. It was kind of odd. She was just running in some Johnson grass, and it was a beautiful summer day. She was running and laughing with a big smile on her face, like she always does. I just kind of flew by her and was looking back, kind of looking down on her a little ways from a distance. I was like a drone or something. It was odd, but it was beautiful. That beautiful smile of hers. It brings tears to my eyes thinking about it. He said he has no idea what the dream meant, but that he's had 3 dreams about summer recently, and each of them were beautiful, but the dream of her running in the grass recently recalled happy times in their lives. So I'm not entirely sure, like I said, when that dream happened that Don was referring to there. But to get to what you guys were talking about next, this is from January 24th, so 2 days ago. Hawkins County Sheriff 911 call at the Wells residence. Candus Bly reports Don Wells for assault. So let's listen in on this video here, and then we'll chat about it.
Mother of missing 5-year-old Summer Wells reported her husband for a domestic assault. That's according to a report filed last week with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. The report shows officers were called to the Wells residence around 12:30 a.m. January 19th. Candus Bly allegedly told officers that she and Don Wells had been drinking alcohol and that he hit her, grabbed her by the throat, and pushed her against a wall. The report shows a different story from Wells, who claimed Bly had been drinking before he got home that night. He allegedly told police that while he and Bly did argue, he didn't touch her. The report states officers did not see any markings on Bly's neck. Neither parties were arrested, and both were referred to private prosecution. Meanwhile, the search continues for the couple's daughter, Summer Wells, who was reported missing in June of last year. Anyone with credible tips is asked to call the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Yeah, so that, and thanks, Kira, that incident happened last week, the 19th, exactly. So, and like I said at the beginning of the stream, I haven't streamed about Summer in over 2 weeks, so we're catching up on certain things. This was posted on the 24th, so 2 days ago, but this incident happened, it looks like 12:30 in the morning on the 19th of January. Now, he reports on all of this, and what I found to be interesting is that he says, after all of that, he says, meanwhile,
search continues
the
for the
search
couple's
continues for, it's like all of this is happening. There's all of these disputes, yet at the same time, their daughter is still missing, and they're drinking and getting into disputes. It's very much a really bad situation. And that's kind of why I have the title of this video as Candus versus Don. They each know something. Now, I don't know what that is that each of them know, and we'll get into a little bit more about what Candus might know later on in the stream. But each of them knows something. You've had the situation where Don's been on different live streams saying he has 7 alibis, and you have all of these different situations where they've clearly had, I mean, it's an abusive situation even prior to Summer going missing. But even now, it's so clear that I feel like something's about to boil over, whether that's Don saying something about Candus or holding something against Candus and making her, or I guess not making her talk, but I feel like each of them knows something. I think Candus knows the most, and I think Don knows that she knows something. I think that's really what it is. I don't think Don knows much, potentially, but I think he knows that Candus knows more than she's let on. So Radiant Rosie says, I believe they are both abusive to one another. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, it's a horrible situation. Corinna says it's horrid. These two are a mess. I think they know what happened to Summer, says Alex. Yeah, I agree to an extent. Amy says, Aaron, I believe the parents are guilty. There are a plethora of 911 calls from that address. These kids should have been removed years ago. Amy, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. They should have never, I mean, this should have never gotten to this point. Let's back out of this.
Summer Wells.
Okay. Pause this here. All right. So, also 311 people in here. We're going to get to the meat of this video now, which is going through, if you guys, I know some people have reached out to me about Chris McDonough, the interview room. He has so many great videos that we have to refer to, and regardless of what you think about Chris, I had some interesting messages come to me about Chris that were just like, don't talk about Chris, he's not a good guy. And I'm like, look, I don't know Chris as a person, but what I do know is that Chris has some of the most insider information, or at least video evidence around this case, and that is obviously when he went to the Wells house, he did the interview with Hunter and his mom and his grandma. He took, he was down with Candus at the swimming hole where they went swimming. And he has all these very exclusive interviews. And so we really only have some of these. We have to go back to Chris's videos at times and refer to these in order to continue analyzing this footage. And so as I've been doing that lately, and as I've been watching some of Chris's videos, I want to talk about some things that kind of stood out to me that are a little bit strange. And so one thing I want to say first and foremost, regardless of what ends up happening with this, if we ever end up knowing the information, I truly believe that Candus, I don't know much about Dawn. Based on what I've heard from Candus, I don't think she's that great of a mom in terms of being very aware and present. In just that way. That's all I'm saying in that way. I don't know beyond that. But I'll explain why. So if we go to this, so this is the walkthrough of the Wells's home that Chris from the interview room did. And this is from the 7-minute and 23-second mark. So if you'll notice, this is when he's waiting for Candus to come out when he first gets to the house. So let's listen in real quick. And I want you guys to notice something.
You know, I have much more respect for what you're telling me.
So it doesn't matter right now kind of what they're saying, but what did you notice, and what do you notice about this frame right here? Candus has walked out of the house. She yelled to the dog like, "Out, get out," right? Or she was yelling to a cat. I guess I don't know what she was referring to. The dog was already out of the house. Maybe she was saying like, "Don't come in, like stay out." But one thing that sticks out to me when I was watching this again was that the door is completely wide open. Okay, now I think that this is probably a pretty common thing for Candus and for this family to just leave doors wide open. But it's important because it stays open for a while. So let's continue on. So this is at 7 minutes and 27 seconds when she comes through the door where she could have closed it, right? And so if we go now to 13:35, let's hear what she says. So if we scrub through, they go over, they talk about the trees, they talk about the property a little bit. They never go to close the door. They're talking about, Candus at this point talks about how thick the brush is in the area. And she actually mentions that on that day, there were people clearing out the brush that normally you can't see down to the road as clearly. And so that's important because she even starts to say that she thinks maybe she theorizes that maybe one of them took her.
All right, so let's
listen.
Not far from your property. Mm-mm. Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around the property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch, inch or two. Okay.
You'd be lucky to get.
So wait, I don't know exactly where that happens. I don't want to scrub around because it's not as important. However, what's important is that they don't go over to the door at any point during this. And if we turn, so we're now at 9 minutes 45. And if we turn here, we're heading back over to the swing, and you'll notice the door is still open. Okay, so this is at 10 minutes and 57 seconds. If we keep scrubbing, you'll see they never go back to the door. Candus turns right around here. She's got the cat, and in the background, once again, the door is wide open. Now, I don't know if she didn't want a cat earlier to run out, and when she was saying stay back or whatever, or out, or what. But things can definitely run into your house if you just leave the door completely wide open. Now, here's where she approaches the house again, and this is where Chris asks basically if he can come inside. And if we go inside, let's scrub through a little bit to 13:35, and let's hear what she says. So first of all, they go into the house, and they don't ever close the door. So I'm going to play through this so you can see and hear that the door is never closed.
So this is the scaffolding you're talking about.
Yeah, that's my.
Okay, so she comes up, jumps up, and goes right in.
Yep.
Okay, how many cats? You know what? You should have like a zoo license. You know, I'm seeing all kinds of critters, which is good. Okay, where's Summer's bed?
Oh,
okay, so he just asked her where Summer's bed was, and it's not in this main room, okay? The door is to Chris's back. He never touches anything in the house other than maybe the stairs when he's going down the set of stairs so he doesn't fall, right? When he asks her the question of where Summer's bed is, she walks into the kitchen. Let's listen.
The basement.
Got it. Okay.
Or
So
she refers to the basement, which is through the kitchen, okay?
what happens when she comes in? The boys are playing where?
No, the boys are actually sitting here.
So this is where she says the boys are sitting here. So she's now moved into the kitchen. The door behind Chris, the one filming, is not closed still. And it's important to know that because we're already 13 minutes into this video. And if you'll remember, at 7 minutes, she walked outside. So the door has now been open for almost 7 minutes. Granted, they've been standing nearby. They would be able to tell if someone ran in or out of the house. However, if you're seeing what point I'm getting at, we'll talk about it a bit later. But let's continue going. Real quick, thank you so much, Missy Me, for becoming a level 1 supporter. Thank you so much. Welcome to the crew. You have access to the emotes now, which we're making new emotes, which is really cool. And so if you guys have any suggestions on emotes and what they should say, let me know, because I'm working on some new ones here very soon. So thanks for joining. Cheryl says, dang, I'm late. Well, you can always scrub back, but we're currently, we're in it about 30 minutes now, and we're just getting into the kind of the meat of what I'm talking about today, which is kind of negligence. Talking about the negligence of Candus. All right, once again, continuing, the door has not been shut.
Okay.
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
Okay, so they're at the table watching TV. Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one of the biggest red flags in listening to this again. Let's listen to what she said. And she says this while the door is completely open behind Chris. What does she say about the boys being in the house?
Watching TV. Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out.
Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. I don't think they were locked in. Yes, they probably have locks on their doors to keep people from coming inside. But I don't think there was a padlock with a key that the boys didn't have to where they were locked in. Okay? So I think that was her saying, no, there was no way that this place, they were here, they were locked in. I think she's saying that. I would imagine she had no idea if the doors were open to the house. She probably left the house and left the door open. Or the boys were running in and out when they left. Who knows what the state of the house was. I think that was very much her pointing out that there would have been no reason for anyone to be in the house when the boys were here.
Okay. Now, who's this on up here?
So he diverts and talks about her sister on the wall there, but we're not going to focus on that today. Miss Wee Lassie says the doors may have been closed, but not necessarily locked. Exactly. I agree. But I think what we're proving here is that Candus probably doesn't always close the doors, and it's not always as buttoned up as she may think it is. So let's scroll to 1952. So actually what happens here is they go back outside. Okay. So they walk back outside, and Chris never opens or never closes the door behind him. All right. And this is actually where they go and talk about plants and about what they did that day, and, moving plants into different pots and whatnot. And she talks about the toys that are inside the pots, some of the Paw Patrol toys that Summer likes. And if we scrub forward a little bit more, the door is completely open, and we walk back inside, and we're going to realize, okay, we'll come back to this in a moment, but this is the part where her story falls apart. But anyways, let's continue on, and we'll realize once again that the door never shuts.
You walked into the house.
I walked into here.
Door is open. She never shut it.
I walked in here and
Chris clearly never shut the door. We didn't hear it shut behind him. There was no motion back towards the door.
them three were sitting right here in a row with their eyes glued to the TV.
She talks about the three boys sitting there with their eyes glued to the TV. That may be true. I'm not sure. However, if we continue to scroll, we know that this is the point in which they go down to the basement and see that this is Summer's bedroom. This is where Summer likely slept. This is her mattress on the floor. And at 19:52, let's listen in. It's when Chris and Candus are in the basement. She says, I don't remember. She doesn't recall if it was locked or not. So let's listen at 19:52.
Under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here and I looked on one side, I didn't see nowhere. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I
Okay.
don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard on that. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer.
So she doesn't recall whether or not it was locked. Also, I should put this up down here, youtube.com/the-interview room, since that's whose video we're watching. Also, guys, I'm loving the chat that's happening in the side. I see your chats. Everyone has really, really solid, you're making great points. I see a lot of great points being made. We're almost at 500 people in here, guys. Let's get to 400 likes. Let's get another 200 likes since we have over 400 people in here. It really helps the stream out, and I would really appreciate it. Okay, continuing on.
Because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Oh, okay, so this is like her.
So she does admit that Summer does go outside and sometimes sit out there. So she talks about the boys being locked in and not able to leave, and I get it that they were gone at that point. This is when the boys would have been home alone if you believe that Dawn wasn't at work. But Summer clearly goes outside on her own, not just with her mom. I have no doubt about that. They talk about Summer being such an outdoorsy person, and you can see why. This house is terrifying. It's completely dark, and they have the foil on the windows, which I know is probably for heat control, right? Keeping the heat out and blocked, but that's blocking out the sun. I doubt she's in that dungeon of a basement playing all day long. I bet she is outside a fair amount. And we're going to talk about, I see Genetic Genie talking about the 20 minutes. We're going to talk about the time frame here in a moment, right when we get through this little, this door being open segment. But that's one of the bigger parts of today's stream that I want to talk about.
Yeah,
So we don't need to hear this. If you guys want to hear this, obviously you guys can go check this video out yourself. But Candus does end up locking this door after, and I think she made a point about it.
Okay.
And we did have a trash man at the time, but he stopped running.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna lock this.
I'm going to lock this. She locked that door, which is fine. All the while, though, the front door is still open. They never closed the door. They went inside, went back outside, went inside again, went through the basement, and now they're coming around the side of the house. And if you'll notice, what ends up happening right here in Chris's video, it's going to be very hard to see, but they're talking about the dogs being Jack Terriers.
Actually, the gentleman that lives.
She's talking about the dogs that
trailer across the creek actually has the mama to that dog there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking about the different types of dogs, and then Chris's video actually cuts to a different part of the day with the door closed. Now, I looked through this clip one more time of them walking by, and you can see that the door is open still, because this is part of that one continuous clip before it cuts. Okay, so let me pull that video up. So this is Candus walking by. And if you look to her left, you see the black right there. It's hard to see if I scrub through right there. And if I pause it, right behind here is the darkness of the door being open. It's super hard to see, but as you pass by, you can see the edge of the door frame, and you can see into the house just a little bit. And it wasn't hard for me to come to that conclusion definitively because the video never cuts. And we know, I mean, we see them go into the house with the door completely open, go downstairs. I mean, no one shut this door. So what I'm getting at with all of this is that, and if we look at the time frame, She came outside at the 7-minute and 27-second mark of this video that Chris made. It wasn't until 21 minutes and 44 seconds that they walked by and you could still see that the door was open. That means that the door was open for 14 minutes and 17 seconds. And several of those minutes, they were downstairs or on the other side of the house talking about the hole underneath the house where the dogs are. There were several minutes where they couldn't see the front door at all. And so it just leads me to believe that someone could have just walked into their house. Like, I don't think that Summer was taken from her house, but it shows just serious negligence. And if, like, someone very well could have just walked in and stolen some of the cats in her front living room while her and Chris were on the other side of the house, and they could have left and walked back down the hill, and they would have never known because the door was wide open. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that I think that there's some holes in her story, just like there's a hole in her front door that was never shut for 14 minutes during this interview. Okay, so now I want to talk about this section here. So this is at the 10-minute mark, roughly, in that same video that Chris, that we just watched from the interview room. Let's listen to what Candus says. This is getting into the timeline. This is getting into the timeline of them coming back from Priceless, which one of the things I also was reading somewhere is that Candus apparently said they were in Priceless for only 5 minutes. I got to find where she said that. If that's true, that goes completely against what Hunter said about them being in there for an hour. Like, that's not even close. So anyways, continuing on. Oh my gosh, 500 people in here. Guys, hit that like button. If you're just joining the stream, if you're just finding my channel for the first time, thank you for being here. Consider subscribing. We follow not only the Summer Wells case, but other missing persons cases and other stories here on the channel. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's get that like count up. Really appreciate that.
It's got a bunch of crafts and stuff in it.
Okay. Got it. And now, from when you pulled up, did she just fall asleep next to that?
She fell asleep, I'd say maybe 5 minutes on the road.
Okay.
So Candus just said that Summer fell asleep maybe 5 minutes down the road. And that actually makes sense. That would make sense because I'll show the video in a moment, but this is 110 Ben Hill Road, which is where the Wellses live. And we tracked, based on the video of Summer Wells sleeping on the milk cartons, that it was exactly 5 miles from the house. It's saying that it would take 10 minutes to drive that distance on Google. But really, when you're kind of in these areas, a lot of times it's about a mile a minute. So you probably could, if you were going pretty quick, get to their house in about 5 minutes. And I also have mentioned in previous streams that I don't think Candus is super accurate with her time frames. So 5 or 10 minutes, give or take. But that does make sense, and that would put Summer asleep 5 minutes behind before they got to the house. So let's, once again, for those who have not seen the videos of me covering this, this is the video of Summer in the back seat. And once again, we confirm, based on this yellow sign that's about to enter the screen here, this yellow arrow, that this is the area in which I just went ahead and recorded this so I could always play this if I needed to. I can take the interview room off here. But you can actually see both of the yellow signs in that video on the left. And then as she zooms forward, you can see she's in the middle of a slight right-hand turn as well. If you see her hands, they're on kind of the right side of the steering wheel. This is a slight right curve in the road. And then right there, you can see the two, and this is very redundant for those of you who have been in some of my previous streams, but those are the two poles, very clearly, it's even the same shade, that appear in the background of her video. Or in the back of her, the video with Summer outside the window. And if we can see here, once again, this is their route back to the house. And this was about 10 minutes or 5 miles, roughly. So I think that Candus is telling the truth there. And I don't know, it sounds like Summer was also asleep at one point when Hunter was dropped off. She was probably asleep off and on throughout that drive. I know for certain that video was taken right there on Lone Star Road. right here. I without a doubt know that that's where that video was taken. And I know that Candus, I believe, is telling the truth, that she was sleeping at that point. Okay, whether or not you believe she was sleeping or not, that's where that video is taken, 5 minutes away. Okay, so continuing on. Let's talk a little bit more about timeline stuff, okay? And before we get into timeline, one thing that Chris from the interview room mentioned in his in this video, or in some of his previous live streams, was talking about Candus and the use of touching her hat and thinking that that was at times where she was getting nervous when she was recalling what happened throughout the day. Let's listen to what they say here. What I believe Allison says, Hunter's mom, about Candus that night when Candus called after Summer went missing. Let's listen in on what happened.
After 7, because he would call his mother first. I'm telling you, he would.
Okay. Then what? Then what took place?
So Wednesday.
So you're watching her though at around midnight.
Yeah.
She was on like a FaceTime with Candus. Keep that in mind.
No emotion.
And she's playing with her
Yeah,
hat.
she's doing this with her hat.
Is she under the influence of anything at that point?
So, I didn't get YouTube Premium. I knew there was something I was forgetting since last time, so we can avoid the ads. So let's listen in on what he says about her being potentially under the influence.
Seemed a little drunk to me.
The drunk?
And high.
Okay. And when you say high, define that for me.
Weed.
Huh?
Weed.
Okay, like she'd smoke marijuana?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. And I see some people's comments saying that I think Allison is completely two-faced. I don't believe anything Allison says. All of the above. I'm seeing many different things from you guys on Allison. However, she did mention this whole hat thing. And so I want to cut to this next video from Chris's video with Candus, the one we've been watching this whole time. And I want to show you guys what she does with her hat here. Oh my gosh, Angela, thank you so much for the $3.99 super sticker. You got the, what is that, a coffee? Thank you. Hopefully you're enjoying your day. Angela, thanks so much for the support. All right, let's see what Candus does with her hat here.
And then Mom, she took her stuff to her house, put her stuff away.
Okay.
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over,
Sorry?
put our stuff away.
Okay. You went back in.
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just...
So that's the part that Chris was talking about, and he said it happened, and he mentioned it happening several times. And she doesn't really look at him here. She says, let's listen to what she says again.
And then Mom, she took her stuff to her house, put her stuff away.
Okay.
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over, put our stuff away.
Okay. You went back in.
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff.
Okay.
Doing normal stuff. Puts the arms up. This is the part that's confusing to me because we're getting into timeline, okay? So if the final video of Summer Wells was taken at 3:09 on the 15th, which is confirmed, Candus went into some live streams shortly after all of this happened, and she talked a lot. I know that they were talking a lot towards the beginning of this before they kind of got a bit more quiet. However, in some of those live streams, she did give the photo timestamps that were attached to both the video and the photo that were taken of Summer to the person that she was on a call with. I can't remember who that was. But it did confirm that the video that was taken of Summer that we all just looked at, that I played, this video here, was taken at 3:09 on the 15th of June, 3:09 p.m. So let's just say it does take them 10 minutes to get home, right? We looked at the distance on the map, 5.1 miles, roughly 10 minutes. Let's say it takes a full 10 minutes. It puts them home at let's just say 3:20. 3:09 plus 10 is 3:19. Let's just call it they're home in the driveway at 3:20 p.m. Apparently, Fred Fred Hill spoke to Ziggy recently and said that he saw Jody Sue's ex, Andy, on Ben Hill Road at 3:30, which is only 10 minutes later. Now, I don't know about all these different characters that have been added to this entire pot of just this entire mess that's been stirred around. But that's something to think about in terms of the timeline. But let's just say it took them 15 minutes to put away groceries and settle in, okay? They get home, like I said, at 3:20. If they pulled into the property at 3:20, that would mean 3:35-ish is when they finish putting away groceries, okay? So let's just call that 3:40. We're going to add time. Even though I think it probably all happened shorter, it's still going to be a pretty big gap of time that that's not accounted for. But let's just say it took them until 3:40. That still leaves a lot of time between the confirmed 911 call at 6:26 p.m., okay? 3:40, and then Summer going missing somewhere between 3:40 and the 911 call at 6:26 p.m. I don't know how long they planted flowers. I don't know any of that, but I know that that's a fair amount of time for something to happen. Okay, so let's listen in. Let's quickly play this video that I made based on some different locations. So I'm gonna read some of your guys' comments actually real quick. Let's see. Hey Aaron, you're so great. Love your perspective. Great work. Thanks Ellie or Eli or yeah Ellie. Chris Davis says she was asleep at Hunter's. Yeah, she was asleep at one point, for sure. Did Angela just give another? Oh, my chat is all delayed. Why is it showing the super sticker that Angela just gave again? Oh my gosh. Hold on. I've got my laptop here too. I just need to read the chat over here. Chris Davis says, put in a load of laundry now? What do you mean? Angela says they didn't plant flowers. I'm going to be honest with you, Angela. I don't believe so either. That's a whole nother story. Okay, so let me go on a little side note here with you guys. I've been thinking so much about this case and what to talk about and what potential avenues to go down of like, what could we think about that maybe hasn't been thought about yet? What path could we go down? And I started to think, what possible holes in Candus's story could we exploit? And I immediately thought about the flowers. I was like, well, they apparently planted flowers. So let's look at the flowers. I went into Chris's video and I screenshotted several flowers that he looks down at. And I thought, let's try to see about sending these to some experts on flowers, because my thought, and this is how crazy I am. Shell says cactuses aren't flowers. Exactly. I sent them screenshots of all of the different flowers in the area, right? This plant here. I sent this one here. I just showed that one. I sent this one here. I sent as many of the like plants as I could from Chris's video. And I sent it to somebody. I reached out to some people on Reddit and just said, would you be able to determine the length or the age of a flower based on the root system? Like if you were able to pull out a flower and shake off all the dirt and see, would you be able to confirm whether or not those were planted in June, regardless of the state of them now, right? We've gone through winter at this point and we're in the middle of January in Tennessee. So it's like, clearly these flowers likely aren't doing well. And so I reached out to somebody, and someone from Cornell University reached back out to me, and I sent them all these photos, and they said that this particular image, the first one, they said this looks to be about 1 month old. And we know that Chris was there. Chris was there in July, so about a month after Summer went missing. So they also mentioned, let me pull it up. They basically said, They said the first one looks to be a month old. Others, hard to say. It all depends on the starting material. How big were the plants? Are they planting? Were they transplanted or grown from seed? Lots of variables at play. If they didn't get great care or water or sun, then they're probably barely going to grow anyways. And I also see your comments about succulents as well. It sounds like, and I went back through that Chris interview, it sounds like they had transferred them to a different pot from smaller pots. And so the whole flower theory kind of went out the window. However, this is where my mind went about this case, is like talking, like, what can we like determine the age of these flowers by pulling them out? I'm like, the proof might be in the flowers. Like, I'm going crazy on this case. However, I don't know if there's anything there, but the fact that law enforcement didn't even take the toys that were in the flowers, which supposedly were the last toys or some of the last toys that Summer played with, leads me to believe they haven't touched the flowers or even thought about the flowers. So I don't know what that tells you about local law enforcement or the KBI or TBI. But they didn't even take the toys, the Paw Patrol toys that were in the flowers. So I don't know. Okay, let's listen in on this video, or let's watch this video that I made that has to do with some of the locations, okay? 110 Ben Hill Road. So we know that is the...
And that's her little swing right there off that tree. She loved to play right there in that yard. That was her favorite spot to be. So whoever took her had to actually come up into the yard and take her. And I don't understand, because, like, my neighbor heard her scream, but I didn't hear her scream because I was in the house with the boys trying to find her. And I guess when my neighbor heard her scream, I was actually in the house and the TV was going, so I didn't even hear the scream.
Lots of excuses. The TV was going, I was in the house, I didn't hear the scream. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to cut to it. I think Candus was completely under the influence. I don't think they planted flowers. I think Candus either got drunk, got high, or was both. And I think she was completely unaware of what was happening with Summer. And part of me is starting to believe more and more that maybe Candus and Dawn had nothing to do technically with Summer going missing. However, and this is all speculation, by the way, guys, I'm not saying this is facts. I am saying this as just my own personal thought, much like you all have about this case. There's so many different things. I think that Candus and Dawn potentially had nothing to do with it. However, she has no real memory of this time in between planting flowers and Summer going missing. The whole abduction theory is becoming more and more possible in my mind. However, I will say that only with, I think that it had to have been someone that they knew personally, knew the property well, not just a random abduction. And we'll get back to kind of my theories in a moment, but I will say that I think Candus was out of it during this time. I do. I think she was out of it. Let's listen. So this is Jody Sue's house at the time. I don't believe Jody Sue currently lives there, but we're going to go through that in a moment.
Scream.
So, Jody Sue's house.
Leave on the phone at 6:09. I'm going around the top curve right away to start the descent down.
So, what Jody Sue just said there, and Jody Sue, God bless her, a little bit hard to hear her, a little bit hard to listen to anything that Jody Sue says, but she's important in all of this because she says 6:09. It was reported that Jody Sue around 6:10 was going down to plant flowers at the bottom of her driveway or something like that. And it sounds like she says, let's listen again.
Leave on the phone at 6:09. I'm going around the top curve right away to start the descent down.
I'm going around the top curve of our driveway to start the descent down. Okay. So this is the 911 call. Let me move this down here.
Road off of Beach Creek should be the first residence on your right. Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home. Now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
That phone call, that that 911 call, the dispatch rather, that's the dispatch call, not the 911 call from Candus. The dispatch, 6:26, okay, 6:26 p.m. Apparently she had been gone at that point, according to Candus, who said that she went for a walk, came home, and now they can't find her, which doesn't really line up in every single one of her descriptions of what happened. That would mean that she had been missing since 6/16. Okay? And, okay, so let's continue listening. Oh, no. Let's just keep watching this and then I'll comment on that. Down here is another pinpoint to highlight, and this is kind of in that area. I don't know how specifically accurate this is, but apparently they got a scent at this location and apparently got a footprint at this location, or multiple footprints. And then, of course, footprints here as well. So if we zoom out of all of this, we'll get to see kind of the whole map. And I want to go through the different property lines. But right now we've got Jody Sue's house, scents, footprints. Of course, we've got the dog trail and Ben Hill Road right there. Okay. So real quick. Apparently Jody Sue's, and I know this is a lot, but this is what I've been going through. And like I said, I know it's a lot, but apparently Jody Sue heard a scream an hour and a half before Summer was thought to have been missing. So if we do all the math here, that would put the scream at around 4:45 p.m. because the dispatch call, the 911 call happened at 6:26, and they said she had been missing for about 10 minutes. So that would mean she went missing 10 minutes prior at roughly 6:16. So let's call that 6:15, right? So 6:15, go an hour and a half prior to 6:15, and that's 4:45 p.m. So what happened between 3:30 when they supposedly got home? Because if we go back to our timeline we were just talking about, the Wells, they took the video, Grandma took the video of Summer in the back seat of the car, 3:09 on the 15th. Took them 10 minutes to get home. They were home roughly around 3:20. We'll call it 3:20. Put the groceries away, 3:30-ish. What happened between 3:30 and 4:45? I think that window of time is when Candus didn't have any idea of what Summer was doing, and that's when it happened. Whatever happened, I think, between 3:30 and 4:45 when Jody supposedly heard the scream. Okay. Let's hear what you guys are saying. Also, thank you guys so much. We're almost at 400 likes. Keep those likes coming. I really appreciate it. Alex says, I'm curious to hear who does Aaron think kidnapped her? Must be someone who knew them. Yes, Alex, I believe that it was somebody that knew them. I'm not set on one specific thing. I go day in and day out thinking that the parents are completely suspicious and that they know absolutely everything that happened. And then certain days, I'm just thinking more so that it was an abduction of someone that knew the family, knew that they could do it, and took action when they thought that it could be right? So I'm back and forth. Amy says video was to cover for her murdering Summer. Interesting, Amy. Interesting. And I know, Amy, I really respect your opinions as a nurse. And I don't remember what all you've said about Summer and the video of her in the back seat. I'll be honest, I think she was alive in that video. I think some of the indications that Candus talks about of Summer getting up when they got back to the house were true. I think some of the ways she said that led me to believe that she was true. Or that it was true, but I'm not sure. Alex, me too. Today, your theory is starting to make sense. I was 100%. It was the parents. I'm not trying to sway anyone by any means, but this is just what I'm thinking today. It's wild. Tomorrow, I may be like, guys, I might be live again. Like, I think that they're involved, Cornbread Mafia. I don't know. I remember when it was that, like, the initial thoughts were just she was sold to the Cornbread Mafia. So many people are still on that. Okay. So let's quickly look at these map points, okay? And we'll try to see where these different scent alerts and footprints were found, okay? I think this is important because in the 911 call, apparently Candus took a walk. Now, I don't think Candus took a walk. I don't. I think that she said that because it made sure it seemed like she was outside looking for Summer, or look outside where Summer could have been, and this happened, not on her watch, but I think she said the walk thing as kind of I think it was a false statement for sure. But let's look at these real quick. Jody Sue's property is right here. We have the Tennessee property viewer right here. So if we actually click the property right across the street from Ben Hill Road, we can see that that is belonging to Carolyn Sue. So I don't know, Jody Sue, if this is a family property. I don't know who Carolyn is, but that would obviously line up with that here. So I don't know where Jody Sue is living now, but that's where that lines up. If we go down to this property where the road curves down here on Ben Hill, let's just try to see where that might be. So that'd be this property right here, I believe. Ben Hill Road curves around. I think it's further down here, actually. No, it's not. Jody Sue's. It'd be just the property just below, right here. So that's where they would have gotten. Jeremy and Lonnie apparently own this property. Overbay. Jeremy and Lonnie. So a scent was picked up here. Footprints down here south of Simpson Road. So let's see where their property goes over to. If we can go to the actual satellite view. Aerial, yeah, here we go. This is a better view. Oh, wait, sorry. This is it. So I'm off. Whoops. Nope. Thank you for subscribing, whoever has hit subscribe during this stream. We're past 17,000. Okay, sorry. Why am I all over the place? Okay, here. It's not Lonnie. This one right here is in this field. So if we go back to the property viewer, it's this property. Richard and Linda Gurley. Okay, so the ascent was picked up down here. Okay. Keep in mind, this is Dawn and Candus's property. If we go back to this photo as a reference, almost perfectly in line with this road here, down here, next to Simpson Road, is where the footprints were. So that'd be this road right here, right down here. Yep, it'd be that property there. So let's see who owns this property. Loading. Okay. Beach Creek owner, Denzel R. and Ella Sid Botham. I don't know. Sid Botham. So apparently footprints were found on this property. And then if we look at this area right here where the edge of this tree line meets Beach Creek Road, just below it is another one. So where's that at? Just where this tree line meets Beach Creek Road. So just around here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's the property across the street also owns a little bit of the property to the south of Beach Creek. And this is James C. and Millicent H. I don't know. James C. must be James Cozy. Anyways, just wanted to point out those different marks. Apparently in their search at the end of November, if we're all familiar with that, right after Thanksgiving, they researched the area. I'm not sure if this is when they picked up on these scents, but I know that they searched this large area based on how many square feet or square miles they said they searched, because we went over that on a previous stream. So map time. If you guys are members of the chat, we just went through a little bit of map time. I want to see some map times in the chat. We're going to go through a couple more things here. We're at the hour mark. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. Thank you to the 711 people that are here right now. Should I open up the lines? Should I open up the phone lines? I'm curious as to maybe what you guys think. Let me know. You know what? I'm going to just do a poll. I want to see how many people would call. Should I open up the phone lines? Yes or no? If you would like, only vote if you would maybe potentially call, so I can see how many people would potentially call in. I'd love to know some thoughts that you might have on what we've talked about today, or just in general about the case. I'll consider opening up the phone lines. Of course, if you want me to open up the phone lines, just type down below. But if you're actually interested in calling in, hit yes so I can see Rhonda, Claire, Tracy, Kate, the map times. Got the magnifying glass too with Claire and Kate, because we are getting a little bit close to some of these properties. We're zooming in, we're looking into it. Okay, continuing on real quick. I'll look at the did I accidentally end I accidentally ended the poll. 42 people voted. Okay, I'll open up the phone lines here in a moment. I'm going to finish a couple more things and then we'll open the phone. I accidentally ended the poll. My bad. And Panda, it's completely fine. You don't have to call in. So, all of what I just said basically was pointing to the fact that I think that possibly Summer Wells had something to do. Or sorry, what am I saying? Oh, that Summer Wells potentially could have been abducted. Now, I went to the Summer Wells subreddit, and this was posted by Miss Mandy Apple 20 years ago. So let's read through this, okay? Miss Wee Lassie says, can you show us from over the pond how far North Carolina is from the Wells property? Yes, I will do that in just a moment. Thank you, Miss Wee Lassie. Okay. So this person says, I'm starting to doubt the Wells involvement. The reason is pretty simple. From day one, I have believed Candus and Dawn and possibly Grandis were involved for obvious reasons. But the longer this goes on, I can't help but think they're all too simple or dumb to be able to cover this up and get away with it for this long. Even I think as a regular civilian, it wouldn't be hard to crack Candus in an interrogation. Not only that, I'd assume their house has been bugged by law enforcement. If it has, I'd expect, and I don't know about that. I don't know if that's happened. But they say, if it has, I'd expect them to both at some point discuss what, quote, really happened, getting their stories straight, etc. Even hiding evidence, getting rid of her body. I can't see either of them being clever enough to be able to pull any of this off, let alone for this long. And at that house, the whole property, the cars, the way they live, they'd have to find some kind of evidence, right? And yet here we are nearly a year later, which it's not a year later, but we're coming up on, right? It's 8 months almost, 7 months. And we know virtually nothing more than we did day one. How? I can't see the Wells being smarter than law enforcement and all the decades of research and development of criminology, detective work, dogs, training, etc. Let's read what some of the comments say. I feel like there was something on this one, potentially. One sec, maybe it was the next one. Okay. So this person 3 days ago says, opinions on suspects, where/what happened to Summer. This person says, I never believed that either, contrary to popular opinion. At first, my main theory was that she wandered off and was lost in the woods, possibly fell in a hole or became trapped or injured, which is still possible. I've also said since the beginning that if it was an abduction, it definitely wasn't. It was definitely someone who was familiar with the family and or the property. And that's what I've been getting at. I agree with that if it was an abduction. I had my suspicions on possibly someone from the church who maybe thought they were, quote, saving her, or some sick F who became obsessed with her. What I lean towards now is that she was abducted by a neighbor or someone associated with a neighbor who has provided a false alibi. I hate this, but as more time passes with no leads or evidence, it becomes more likely to me. Of course, I never am 100% on anything, and everything is still a possibility. Unfortunately, I believe Summer is no longer with us, and that kills me. So, a lot of people are kind of starting to think more and more, and I know that there are some people even in here that are very dead set on the fact that Candus and Dawn are 100% still involved, and that's completely fine. Like I said, I'm back and forth day in and day out. But it seems like even more people in the community, amongst the Reddit page and beyond, are saying like maybe they're not involved. And after watching through the interview rooms video, like I said at the beginning of this, I really just think that maybe Candus just doesn't know what happened. Maybe she was out of it. Maybe she was drunk. Maybe she was high, whatever it was. Okay, let's open up the phone lines. Cindy Lester says, smash that like, folks. Show the love. Yes, thank you. Hit that like button, guys. We're at 435 likes. There's no reason why we can't get to 500 likes in the next 20 seconds. Let's do it. There's 727 people in here. Let's get it. 20 seconds. I'll look back on it in like 2 minutes. We'll see where we're at. Do you have Candus's 911 call from yesterday? Blake, I don't have that. Did they record the call? Is that call public? I'll have to check. Let's get the phone lines going though. If Alicia's in here, we'll get the line added to the chat. And if you would like to call in talking about anything that we covered today, that would be amazing. So let me see here. Okay, so there's the number. I posted the number. Alicia may be currently finding the number. Let me let her know in case she's AFK here. All right, I'm opening up the lines. Cool. She just commented it. So I'm going to pin her comment. If you'd like to call, you could call at 305-985-2690. It's a Google Voice number. There's no line, so you just have to call and be the first one to call. And then if you want to call me, try to find a time where I'm about to end a call and maybe try to call again because there's always a delay. So here's the first caller.
Call from
Amy.
It's Amy. All right.
To accept, press 1.
I always like listening to Amy.
Voicemail, press 2.
I think they're going to answer me.
Hey, Amy. How's it going?
Hi. I'm always the first. I figured I'd call you before I have to get dinner on.
That's all right. Thanks for calling.
Okay. You know, I don't think she was abducted. I just don't know if you heard this. I heard this. I don't know if you've heard this before yourself, that there was, when the dogs went out, there was the scent went cold by, as soon as they got to the truck or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been hearing people have been saying is that she must have gotten hurt when she was swimming, and that she was still in the truck, and that she told Don about what happened, and that they went and took care of her body because, as I've called before, said that they didn't want to have problems with the CPS or the protective services. And the other thing is, you may disagree. You may have been saying that you don't want trespassers. It's not right to have trespassers on the property, but God forbid, I have a daughter, I've told you that before, that if something happened to my daughter and she went missing, I would welcome anybody there on my property to help find my child. So to me, when they don't want people on their property, that shows guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want people that are there that want justice for your daughter? Not for your child. To me, that's, as a mother, it doesn't make sense. I don't. Maybe one day when you have a child, you may, understand that what I'm saying. But with the lack of law, you're seeing all over the country, these police departments aren't doing anything, hardly anything, to search for people when they go missing. Too many people are being let down by law enforcement to try to find their children or their elderly relative, that goes missing. So I just think it doesn't make sense when you are upset people are on your property trying to find your child to help you out.
Yeah.
Why didn't you come in and help them? They were looking in different buildings, the YouTuber people, the heels on the ground, whatever they call themselves. They wanted to help find the child.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they help say, hey, Don and Candus, why didn't you go and join them and get your church to help them?
Right.
To me, none of it makes sense. doesn't add up emotionally. It doesn't add up the way she's responded to her daughter being missing. Something is wrong.
For sure.
So that's it. That's all I
Okay.
have. That's my 2 cents for the night. Okay.
Well, I
bye.
appreciate it. Thanks, Amy.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too. Bye. Yeah, she mentioned the scent. I think they mentioned the scent potentially going down the dog trail or where the boys would ride their dirt bikes, and it ended at the road apparently. That scent could be from when she would run down there all the time, right? Let's listen to the next caller here.
Call from
Holly.
To accept, press 1.
Hey, Holly, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Aaron?
Doing well. Thanks for calling.
I'm loving your new map, of course. You do such a good job with these maps.
Oh, thanks.
So, I definitely think she was snatched. It's too easy to be around behind that house, completely unseen from anybody and everybody at the front. I mean, think about how many times you walk to the backyard of your house when you get home.
Right.
You know? And then it kind of just correlates with what Jody Sue said about the scream and she did remember say truck doors slamming. And I'm like, And then she also described the red truck that she kind of thought she saw and down to the fade of the paint job. And then somebody else on one of the other YouTube channels had showed what Tim Mullen's truck looked like. And then I don't know if you ever got to see it, but Tim Mullen has like he was the one that his AKA is Jim Goad.
Mm-hmm.
And
I haven't seen that.
I can try to get you the link, but he's also a mechanic. So when he was on the phone with Dawn and Candus during Ziggy's, I don't know if it was live, but Ziggy was on speaker.
Yeah.
And then he was saying, Tim, Tim, Tim. And then he found out Ziggy was there, and he stopped talking for a minute and then said, Jimmy, it's Jimmy. And that was the same guy that, was pointed out trying to shush Robin when she pointed out his name. But they have a mechanic shop.
So what are your with all these people, like what are your thoughts on all of these people that are involved in some way or another or have spoken up in some way? Like, do you think that word is going around that kind of community in that neighborhood, in that area, and there's rumors being spread? Or do you think it's people that genuinely saw something? We have all these different things that are said. And like, I think, Holly, you're a good example of catching me up to speed on all these names of people that there's just it reminds me that there's so many people beyond just Candus and Dawn. What are your thoughts with all of these people? Who is the biggest, is there someone that's the most suspicious that stands out to you? Because sometimes you'll mention some of these stories and I haven't even heard of them, which it's easy not to find some of this stuff. Yeah, because there's a lot.
Yeah, and then you find it, hindsight's 2020. Like, I just recently went back and listened to the original stuff that Jody Sue had said. And you take it all in context, I don't think Jody Sue realizes as bad as her ex, Andy, was. And there's 3 Andys probably in Candus's phone. There's Andy, Allie's ex.
Yeah.
And
the drug dealer, right?
Right. And he's super suspicious. And talk about the shaved heads, that was in his Facebook page, along with some very unhappy looking blonde children doing this weird hand cross thing. And then he was the one, that had the panda bears. And then the very next day he went to the satanic symbol. I mean, that guy is all over the place sketchy. And he didn't start talking up until Hunter said Andy. And I also think that Hunter deleted some stuff out of Candus's phone. So, but I think that what it is the link that comes back around is Tim Mullen / Jim Goad is the mechanic-y guy. They were in a professional auto shop, and they were working on a truck, he and Hunter and Ethan. So that's where that comes back. And I don't know if that was in North Carolina or whatever, but that was like an old YouTube thing where they, just posted something about working on trucks, something like that.
Okay.
But if the theory that I had heard, which this is where it kind of turns into more of a reach, but it's not. Branch Davidian leftover, Robin, very young. She would have been with a little boy at the time and a little girl, I think. And that could possibly be where Ethan comes into play. And supposedly Robin had a kid just the other day. Like, I don't remember seeing her looking pregnant, much less, that far along. But who knows? But it's just all suspicious as to, is this just like completely Branch Davidian moved into town and infiltrated some stuff. And I love the churches and all the, I don't want to hear anybody, saying I'm hating on the church. No, there's bad people in certain churches. And if they get in, whether it's their church or the Baptist church, or infiltrate somewhere else, then they can manipulate it how they want to. It doesn't mean they're religious necessarily. It just means they're manipulative.
Taking advantage of people. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think that kind of, but if you can, it is all in my Wisdom Sleuth folder where I've got all the, video links as far as it goes. But yeah, if you can see that video of all three of them. And then where did Hunter get the book bag from? That's my opinion. He went down the trail, was given that book bag by somebody, and then that was where the orange soda came from, because nobody really mentioned the orange soda.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But, yeah.
Huh.
And
all
then,
right. Well,
so,
thank you so much for calling. I got to cut it at 3 to 5-ish
yeah,
minutes, but thanks for calling.
Yeah, no. You're welcome. So, yeah.
We'll see you in the chat.
Thanks
Thanks again.
Okay.
All right. Bye. That was Holly. Always has good things to say. And like I said, she reminds me of just that there's so many people to look into. And thank you for the super chat real quick. Super chat coming in from Cynthia Hughes. She says, look into 209 Ben Hill Road. Cynthia, let me know what you'd like me to look into. I pulled it up over here. It's just south on Ben Hill Road. We've got the Wells property here. This is very, very close to where that first scent was picked up. So Cynthia, if there's anything else you want me to look into here, let me know. While I'm on the next call, I'm going to pull up the property owner in the background of this area, or of this address. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Cynthia.
Call from
Caitlin.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, Caitlin, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to say, I don't know if I'm overlooking it, but have there been any sightings at all of Summer?
Of who, sorry?
Of Summer, like, have there been any reported
sightings.
sightings or anything?
I don't think so, unless it's something I've completely missed. And that, I mean, possibly earlier on, I would imagine there could have been, like, you know what I mean, when it was so fresh, and because like so many people don't even think that she is probably alive anymore. So I don't think there's probably been any recent. But that's a good question. I don't know. I wasn't covering the case until just, October really, or November almost.
Right.
So it's like I'll have to look into that. Summer Wells sightings.
I mean, I was just curious
Yeah.
because the case is so, I mean, everybody, knows about this case, and everybody's so concerned about it. I mean, I think about it morning, noon, and night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly worrying about this little girl, and I mean, I don't know. I've never heard not once. I mean, I sadly don't think she's alive either. But, I mean, it just popped in my head, just curious if there were any sightings.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not seeing anything. I've got it pulled up on my other screen. I'm not seeing much. The TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was tweeting out in the early stages of her being missing, saying, if you have any sightings, this is where you should call, all those things. I'm seeing posts like that when I type in sightings, but I'm not seeing any. Oh wait, someone August 19th, 2021, someone posted potential sighting of Summer Wells. I'll have to look into this video that they posted, but yeah, I don't think there've been a lot, especially ones that are credible that have made it to the top of like people's radars.
Right. I mean, it just proves more to the point that, I mean, she probably never made it off that property until something happened to her. So
right.
I don't know. I just hate it. I hate the whole situation. I have I'll let you go. I have a 1 and a 3-year-old little boy, and I mean, it breaks my heart. And I know I would have taken the little girl free. I would have taken her. There's so many people who just do horrible things to children, and there's people like us, and I'm sure you're one of them, who would just take these babies and just take care of them. And it's just heartbreaking, for these children.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, something should have been done if they weren't fit to have them, or if they didn't even want her. It's like one of those things. It's like people don't realize that people would step up, right, in a situation
Right.
like that. So, yeah,
Right.
I don't
But
know.
anyway, well, I love your channel. You're doing a great
Okay.
job, and I'll let you go.
Yeah, and thanks so much for calling in.
All
right, bye-bye. Okay, so Cynthia, who sent the super chat, I've got this pulled up here, 209 Ben Hill Road. I don't know where the actual property line, or the property line is showing this, but it's not showing 209 Ben Hill. Maybe this one? 242 Ben Hill Road. That's a huge property. 207 Ben Hill Road. This is saying 178 Ben Hill. But 209 Ben Hill Road shows this right here. Cynthia says, you're welcome for the super chat. Oh, did you ever say what to look up? Sorry, Cynthia, if your message went by me there. Shelby says, check this. Oh, check the second tweet I just sent you. All right, thank you, Shelby. I'll check that out in just a moment. Oh, Shay's in here. Hey, Shay, how's it going? Phone lines are still open. The number is pinned up above if anyone would like to call in and chat about the case. I'm not sure if Cynthia put down what I should look into in regards to that number. Don't use a cell phone? What do you mean, don't use a cell phone? Thank you, 209. Should be 400 acres for sale from farm with waterfall. 209 should be 400 acres for sale, farm with waterfall. Thank you, Chris. 400 acres, let's see. Doesn't show the acreage on this one here. Good, Airmo. How are you? Shay, I'm doing well. Doing well. Thanks for asking. We're just covering the Summer Wells case, doing another update on it. It's been over 2 weeks since I've talked about it, so I'm here once again to go through different things that kind of have stood out to me in the last couple days. I'm not seeing this 400 acres for sale. 44 acres, 86 acres. I mean, what would be 400? If that's 86 acres, this would be like, it's not showing the acreage right here. However, this lines up pretty much specifically with the address right here of showing 209 Ben Hill Road on Google. So I would imagine that this is the one. It's just not showing the acreage. So if this is what's for sale, that could be the one. If there's any significance to that, let me know. Chris Melcher with the $2.99 super chat. Thank you, Chris, so much. Chris's super chat says, how's it going? It's going very well. Thank you, Chris. Okay, phone lines are still open. I'm going to look at the tweets from... Okay, yeah, here we go. The second one is the dispatch audio. Let's listen in on this real quick.
Units responding to the domestic. We've got them back on the phone. They've called 911 again. Still an open line. Can hear them arguing in the background.
Okay, Common, you still got them on the line?
Male subject's in the basement. I believe she's upstairs.
Thanks for sending this.
Yeah.
38.
Go ahead.
Do you have an ETA? Also, he's downstairs and he's unaware that she's called.
Subscribe to Plunder.
Subscribe to Plunder.
Candus Well. Donald Well.
Oh, okay, so that's it. And then this Plunder channel, which I've came across Plunder's channel before. It looks like they go on to talk about it. Okay, so it sounds like Dawn was unaware that Candus was calling 911. Interesting. Thanks for sending that over. Let's see what this other one is. I cannot find a recording of the actual... Oh, so you ended up sending the recording. Thanks for sending that, Shelby. Amy says, who's going to want to buy property on that street? Yeah, I don't know. Also, I wonder how much, I don't know anything about how much the properties are there. It doesn't show a listed price. I mean, it doesn't even show that this one's for sale right now. But this is a massive amount of land too, because even the Wells's property is a fairly large, I mean, it's a pretty large area overall. Oh my gosh, 800, we hit 800 viewers. Guys, we are reaching more people than we have in a while live on the Summer Wells case. If you're just coming across the channel and you'd like to see any of my previous coverage of Summer Wells, the Summer Wells case, down on the below on my main channel page, I've created a playlist. Today we are kind of wrapped up with talking about what I wanted to talk about, which was kind of the negligence and the fact that Candus left the door open for 17 minutes during her interview with Chris from the interview room. Many who have followed this case are very aware that of this video. And it just, I was kind of pointing to the fact that I think Candus really, I just don't think she's, I hate to say it, but I just don't think she was probably a great mother. I mean, it's hard to say that, but I just really, I believe that. Sandy says, hit that like. Thank you, Sandy. But yeah, thanks for like I said, the 800 people that are in here. Thank you to the over 500 people that have hit the like button. That is very much appreciated. Rainsong says, I appreciate you covering this case without all the drama. Thank you, Rainsong. Yeah, there's so much drama tied to this case. I mean, I get that there's so many different theories, but with all the people that are out there and all the controversy with the boots on the ground people, heels on the ground people, regardless of what you think, there's just so much going on. Stargirl, I found you from Icked Mel. Thank you, Stargirl. Thank you for being here all the way from the Icked Mel shout-out days. Mel and I are likely going to hang out somewhat soon after he gets done moving and all that. We're gonna meet up. I just got a text from him a couple days ago. I need to respond. Shell says, too much drama. I agree. In my opinion, this is very deep in trafficking. There's a guy, Brian Ladd, who does dream drawings. He did one in the beginning of Summer Wells Missing and had numbers on there. I don't think I mentioned that in this stream, but I will say that Ronnie Lawson, the sheriff there in Rogersville, apparently was quoted and said that he dismissed the scream, the Jody Sue scream, and said that it's not a part of the case. And he also has apparently stated that human trafficking was not a problem in that area. And I can't find I didn't want to say specifically that he was quoted saying this, but reportedly the sheriff even said that human trafficking wasn't a thing, wasn't a problem in that area. Yet there have been countless situations relating to human trafficking in that area. So to completely turn a blind eye to something that's obviously so prevalent, it makes me wonder about that sheriff a little bit. Okay. Let me copy this. Anyways, so no one wants to call in anymore. It sounds like, as I say that, let's see who's calling.
Call from
Lynn.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Whoops.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi. Ooh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Little delay there. You'll just have to mute your end there.
Oh. Yes.
We'll be hearing ourselves twice. Thanks for calling.
But yeah, I was just hearing that somebody else called in the background. That's why I was a little disappointed. But I just wanted to say that the red truck, would that be if when they find that person, they're going to ask them what they saw, or it could be that person took her.
because also Candus said she had another phone. Remember we found out from Chris's second video, he exposed that Candus had a second phone, and when she was going to call 911, she threw her phone in the back of the truck. But we don't know which truck. It could be the red truck, or it could be one of their trucks. And I was just thinking what you thought about it.
Oh, so okay. So I think so when she called 911, you're saying she used a different phone? Because I know I think Candus's phone. She said she threw her phone on a truck or in a truck.
In a truck, and she may have gotten it later because she didn't give police the phone until after Chris's interview. She said that she was doing some business downtown, or probably downtown area.
Yeah.
And she was going to drop off the phone to the police station. So she had two phones, not just one phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they went and searched the house.
Mm-hmm.
They would have got two phones, but the police never knew that she had two phones. So where was that other phone?
I think she borrowed. So from what I gathered, and I could be wrong on this, but I think she mentioned using grandma's phone to call the police because her phone only worked on Wi-Fi. So I think Candus's phone maybe was a phone that you pay for by the month, and maybe she hadn't made a payment and she only was able to use it to like get on Facebook and message people when she was on Wi-Fi, but not make calls. So that's what I gathered from that, is that she used the grandma's phone, which I think she said she had AT&T or something, to call 911. But I don't know about the whole truck, putting the phone in the truck. I know grandma has a truck, so maybe she was outside and put it in grandma's truck. I'm not quite sure. But,
you're saying like she was outside when she called Dawn, so it may have been that she had the door open in the mother's truck and threw the phone in the back of the truck. But she had another phone.
Possibly.
She never gave it to police. We didn't find this out until a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So I didn't know if
I hadn't heard of that. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I'll have to look into that.
I'm not sure if she said in the truck or in the back of the truck. I would have to go back and listen to it.
Okay.
But like when they find this person with the red truck, like they're going to ask him questions. Like what questions are they going to ask him is what I'm really talking about too, you know?
Yeah. Hard to say. Yeah, I know there's several articles that are talking about the truck. I don't know when this came out, August 5th. They were saying that the truck hasn't actually been located, contrary to rumors. I think they're talking about the red truck that was said to have been seen on the road. But I'm not quite sure which one you're referring, or which one in your story she's talking about. Because I know that, like I said, grandma had the truck on the property as well. But I don't know. I'll have to look into Candus having a second phone as well, because that's an interesting thing I wasn't aware of. So thanks for mentioning.
We found it the second time Chris introduced the interview a second time. He let us. It's the full interview.
I must have missed that. Yeah, when he went back through it. I'll have to check that out. Very
cool.
cool.
Can I ask you one other question? Yeah. How close does Jody Sue live? Because she's saying that she's seeing so many different things going on over there. And I'm like, geez, where does she live? So close. You can see everything.
Yeah, so she lives apparently, I mean, at the time, I'm not entirely sure if Jody lives there now, but apparently right across the street on Ben Hill Road. So the street that you turn onto to get to the Wells property, you would turn left to go to Jody Sue's house, and you would turn right to go to Candus and Dawn's. So she's right there, and I've heard from people that have been to that area that Jody Sue and Candus and Dawn's property are both pretty elevated to where you can see through the trees and see over to each property when you can see through. And so I think she was able to see and hear a lot, being kind of on the same level as them. I have yet to go visit there.
Yeah.
I'd like to go see kind of what it looks like at some point. But apparently she was very, very close. I'm not sure if Jody Sue's still living there, but she was close.
Yeah, she was claiming a lot of different things that she saw, and I'm like, geez.
Yeah, apparently she
in the
was right
windows.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
And they block their windows and all that, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
On everything. All right.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much for calling.
Yeah, I didn't want to take too long. Okay,
All
somebody
good.
else is going to call you soon.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I tried to keep the calls between 3 and 5 minutes. That one went a little over, but I appreciate her calling nonetheless. Very quickly, I'm going to, read this super chat. We also have a new member here. Sorry, 1 second. Cynthia. Cynthia also gave a membership. Level 1 member. Thanks, Cynthia. Really appreciate that. And Rainy Day Lady with the $20 super chat, not super sticker. Check into the church people, in my opinion. That's one thing. I'll say this, Rainy Lady, and thank you so much for the $20 super chat. All of these super chats and super stickers really, really help fund different things around the channel. I'm going to be working on a documentary. For those of you who don't know, in 2 weeks, I'm shooting the first interviews for my self-funded documentary that I'm working on. So all of these little memberships and super chats all go a super long way with that. So I appreciate the support. But yeah, the churches. So Rainy Day Lady. The churches are something I have yet to look into to a large extent. Obviously, we have the pastor or the pastor leader of some sort from the church who Chris did an interview with. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. A lot of people had speculated that maybe she had something to do with it. And then there's obviously a lot of speculation around other members of different churches having some interesting ritualistic type things going on. I'm unaware of all of that. If anyone has anything for me to go through, send it in the submissions form, because I don't even know where to start with looking into that kind of stuff, right? I know Holly's mentioned certain things like that, and she has definitely sent me some stuff on the submissions, and I appreciate it. But if you have anything you'd like to send me specifically, use the Google form down below. Okay, I've opened up the line again. I had to pause there for a moment to thank Cynthia, as well as Rainy Day Lady for the super chat. But if you'd like to call, we're going to stay live for a little bit longer here. I'm going to read through some of your guys' comments as we wait for another call. Jay Barrett says, looking forward to your documentary. Thank you, Jay Barrett. I'll be able to say more about that soon, but I won't be able to say much in terms of the details of it, if that makes sense. I'm going to be doing a stream here soon for people who would like to support that documentary that's exclusively talking about that. And it'll be kind of like a support stream where we can go through as much of that as I'm allowed to say, I guess. And then anyone who'd like to support and be involved in it can through that stream. But yeah, thanks, Jay Barrett. Cynthia Hughes. Yes. Rainy Lady. Stargirl, yes. Sarah Spencer, I bet. What did Sarah Spencer say? Sarah Spencer says, I listened to Sweetie Pie's and Donna's live last weekend. I have listened to all her readings from the beginning again, and there are so many clues. Gatlinburg holds the key. I feel like I've maybe covered one of the readings from... I feel like Sweetie Pie's is one of the videos I talked about, and they were talking about a gazebo, I think, in... what town was it? Let's see, there's Kingsport. It would have been Jonesboro. There's a gazebo in Jonesboro at a park. I think that was something. But yeah, anyways. Pam says, what do they each know? So, referring to the title, Pam, what do they each know? What I got to earlier and what I think I've come to is that each of them know something, I feel like. I think Candus, in my heart, I think Candus got drunk and high, or both. She was known to do that. Dawn has been known to to partake in substances as well. I think Candus was probably the only one there that day. We have a very specific window of time between the supposed scream that happened and her going missing. I think Candus was likely under the influence and doesn't know really. If she had nothing to do truly with what happened to Summer, I think she truly doesn't know what actually happened because she was very unaware of what was going on. I think she was probably out of it. So with that, I think she knows that she screwed up. Maybe she's not telling Dawn. And I think Dawn, or if she does know more, and this is going down many different roads, Pam, but I think Dawn likely knows that Candus knows more. So they each know something. I think Dawn is more in the dark, if I had to guess. But I think he still is holding something over Candus's head. And clearly there's these disputes going on. We've got Dawn and Candus just the other day on the 19th, a 911 call happening, a domestic dispute. They're both drunk. And clearly they have both, Candus had mentioned that her wrist was potentially broken and he was abusive just here on the 19th. So I think they each know something and they're holding things over each other's head for sure. Cheryl says, Aaron's documentaries are great. Oh, thank you. Have you seen any of them? I don't know how many. There's not too many on YouTube. I have some like very old things that are under my documentaries section on YouTube. This project in particular that I'm working on will be leagues above anything I've ever done. Think Netflix Unsolved Mysteries. It's going to be essentially a carbon copy of a Unsolved Mysteries episode. I'll just say that, but thank you so much. Stargirl says, yes, that's the guilty knowledge. Exactly. I think they have knowledge of one's guilt. Shirley says, I hope D and C rat each other out. I think it could get to that. I think at some point, if it boils over enough, someone will rat out the other person, potentially. Sandy Denny says, can't wait. Thank you. Also, for the Tier 2 followers, our Tier 2, which, by the way, we should go ahead and shout out the Tier 2 followers. Our live stream, our Tier 2 only live stream is happening Monday, this coming Monday, the 31st. So the Tier 2 followers, that's one of the perks of being a Tier 2 member, is doing the once a month members only live streams. The Tier 2 supporters, these are the Tier 2 supporters here. The other perk of being a Tier 2 supporter is also getting your name shouted out at the end of each stream. So we're approaching the end of this stream, and those are the Tier 2 supporters. So thank you to those who have supported on the Tier 2 level, and thanks to the people who have just joined as Tier 1s as well. Much love to all of you. And just to the people who are here liking and subscribing and watching the videos. It all is very much appreciated. And in fact, let's just see where we're at on the sub count. We're at 17,083. So we're close to 17,100. Thank you to the people who have subscribed during this stream. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people are unsubscribing that followed me recently after my Kenny Veach videos. I got about 2,000 subscribers from those videos. And that was a very specific group of people that followed me. And I think they're realizing that I'm covering some of these other cases now. And they're wanting me to cover more Kenny Veach. And I'm not just a one, subject channel. I don't follow just one thing. Much like here, we may be talking about Harmony Montgomery in a couple days, or we'll be back on Summer Wells. But I think the people who have been jumping on and subscribing, I appreciate it. Shell says, can't afford to go tier 2. That is okay. I really appreciate you. I mean, you're tier 1. That's amazing. I really appreciate just supporting in general and watching and liking. It's all great. Okay, well, no calls are happening. Chris Davis says, if they didn't drug and sell her due to CPS, in my opinion, accident, but they hid the body so CPS wouldn't take the boys. Thank you, Chris, for that comment. A lot of people think that there could have been an accident as well, and that goes back to the whole swimming hole thing. I mean, the theory of, was she alive on the drive home when they filmed her near Lone Star Road or near Walker Fork Church? I don't know if she was alive. It's hard to say. what happened afterwards, I'm not sure. I was seeing rumors that Summer may have been, or that they were going to dig up the yard. Did you guys hear that? That there were rumors that they were going to dig up the Wells yard. I don't know if I'm the only person who heard that. But that was a rumor I was seeing like early last week or something. Yeah, anyways. Riza B says, that's why I say you cover many missing persons and topics. Yeah, I'm going to try to cover as many topics as possible. It's very hard to like pick what to cover. There's sometimes only so much information on certain things, and so it's hard to dive in. There is an update on the last live stream we had where Lauren Fields. So we went live to talk about Lauren Fields, the Bumble date that potentially went wrong. And apparently there was an update with that case, and they found fentanyl in her system. So if you were in that live stream, maybe I don't know whether or not he was involved in that, or if she took something that was laced with fentanyl, but that's what happened there. And oh my gosh, Jasmine, thank you so much for joining the crew, the level 2 crew. I will have to add your name, Jasmine, to the list of people on the tier 2 support for the next stream. But let's just pretend your name is right there next to all these wonderful people. I'll add it for the next stream. And yeah, if you want to stop by Monday, we're going to do a tier 2 only stream on the 31st. So thanks for joining. Accidents happen. No need to conceal a death unless you've done something wrong. That's a good point, Shell. That's a good point. Shay, does CPS still have the boys? Anyone know? I believe so. Yeah, I believe CPS still has the boys. It was rumored that the boys don't want to come home. Now, I don't know how true, like what truth, how much truth there is in that, but it's rumored that the boys don't want to come back home. I don't know if they're aware of like how much the spotlight is on that house and if they're potentially scared to come home or what the case is, but it's rumored that the boys don't want to return. Agree. They are throwing the guilt to each other. Sorry, I think she's not alive. DL, I agree. Unfortunately. Cynthia says, or she is safe and well somewhere. Can you imagine if this ends up being a situation like the girl in Australia, and that person was missing for far shorter. But imagine if Summer Wells was found alive. I can't even begin to describe the internet would erupt if that were to happen. Junebug, let's see, what does Junebug say? Why'd that go away? Junebug says, hey everyone. Oh, hey Junebug. Are we at the end of the stream? Yeah, we're near the end of the stream, Junebug. Thanks for joining, though. We're just kind of speculating on what happened. I have the phone lines open as well. If anyone wants to call, 305-985-2690. We still have 729 people in here. I figured I'd keep the stream around 2 hours, so we're near the end. But I'm just going through the comments right now. Vivian says, "Yeah, I don't think she's alive." That's unfortunate. Shay Sullivan says, I'm wondering if they know something, like the boys seemingly would have known something. I think the boys potentially know something that could put Candus's story, it could put some holes in her story. I think Candus was probably, look guys, even swimming at the swimming hole where they were waiting for grandma's prescription at Walgreens, Candus was making TikToks. She was making videos. It was said that Hunter saw Summer under the water for several seconds. Wasn't sure how long she was under there. I'm telling you guys, I don't think Candus paid much attention to Summer. And it sounds really rude to say, but I don't think she was paying attention to Summer while she was swimming very much. I don't think she was paying attention to Summer when they got home. I think the boys would be able to tell law enforcement or somebody that Candus was drunk, Candus was high, Candus was at the very least maybe even asleep. If they told her, oh yeah, she was asleep from 4:45 to 6:30 when the dispatch call happened. I really think the boys might have something to say there, or the boys were glued to the TV playing Minecraft, watching YouTube, whatever it was, and they don't have any info that's valid. We have so many things with Summer's scent being picked up down the trail, yet it was reported that she would chase her brothers down there on their dirt bikes all the time. So maybe that was a scent from a previous time. So there's just too many things with this case. It's like, I think Summer Wells was all over this property. So I don't know. I think her scent probably was picked up all over. And it's hard to say that just because her scent may have ended down here by this shack, she could have just been playing there the day before, right? So I doubt, like I said earlier, that she played inside a lot. I think that the inside of their house was a mess and dark and dingy, and she likely stayed outside for the most part, especially in the summer. We are beyond being rude, Aaron. Truth counts now. Yeah, I agree. Peggy Rose says, or Jenny says, I agree with you, Aaron. And Peggy says the boys didn't want to play with her. Yeah, I also heard that the boys were not very interested in Summer, which is sad. But it sounds like Summer was she was kind of the outcast. Boys didn't want to play with her much. She probably inserted herself into a lot of their happenings, and they just had to let her kind of tag along. Ty says, did the dogs pick up her scent or a scent? I believe they picked up her scent. Something matched to her. So I think they picked up her scent. But I could be wrong on that. But like I said, if it was her scent, it could have been from a recent time that she was down there. Sissy says, what about that disgusting mattress Summer slept on? I don't even want to go there. I mean, her mattress just sitting on the floor, and like, I don't want to go through the state of people's different level, like economic levels, right? Clearly people go through hard times, but this house was just not in fit for children, right? There was, I mean, even the stairs, you could break your leg going down those, like, it was like a ladder, not stairs. And that's down there where Summer was supposed to be sleeping. I ran out of coffee and my mouth is dry. All right, we're gonna end the stream in just a moment. I'm really enjoying your guys' chats. Cynthia says, Aaron, read through this chat when you can and look into the SDA Church and Tim Mullen / Tim Goad, Jim Goad. Okay, Cynthia, I can definitely do that. Maybe I'll do an entire live stream on just the church stuff and preface the whole thing with basically not wanting to get involved in that, because I know it's a slippery slope when you get the church involved. And maybe I'll do just a very straightforward, like analyzing the church. Gosh, I can't talk. And just get to the nitty gritty. So I'll look into that, Cynthia. It's a slippery slope though, but we got to go down all the slopes, right? If we want to get to a resolution, we got to go down all the slopes. Can't stop thinking about the barrel with the text for sale. I think maybe that could have been a coincidence. I think they sold a lot of things, and they probably put that barrel up next to things that were for sale. But I could be not reading into it enough. The one she was wearing next to the truck. Possible the boys have no idea. Exactly, Paul. It's possible they don't have any idea. Okay, I should end this. I could sit here and chat with you guys for another 2 hours, like legitimately. But if I'm being honest, we've hit our 2 hour mark today, and honestly, I think that this was a pretty good stream. If you're joining late, feel free to go back to the maybe 15-minute mark of this video, or 10-minute mark, where we kind of start going into some of the things that have stood out to me in the last couple of days in jumping back into this story. I will continue to follow along with what's coming out over the next couple of days. And once I feel like we should talk about this again, Maybe we will. And look, there may be not anything to report on that's new in the next stream. And maybe it's just, maybe we do a stream like this again, where the second half of this stream has been very much me just chatting with you guys about what you think. Because, you know, fresh eyes and fresh perspectives on a case, I think, are very important. And so sometimes just jumping in and chatting with you guys can lead to new directions to kind of think and navigate when talking about the case. So I'll try to maybe come back with some more info or some more insight, utilizing maps and utilizing videos. But until then, keep sharing the news about summer. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We just hit 17,100. Thank you to the new subscribers. Use the submission down below in the description of the video if you'd like to send me any information on the Summer Wells case or any other cases. You can also follow me on Twitter down below. It is at Aaron Mull Films. You can DM me there. The easiest way is through that Google form in the description of the video, though. I check that usually once a week. Have a great night, everyone. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Also, as a reminder, I'm back. The Tier 2 only live stream happening this Monday, the 31st. Check the community tab if you just joined as a Tier 2 member. That will be happening this Monday. But thank you to everyone, all of the members of every level, and everyone who is watching. We'll see you guys all in the next one.